to put on the live chat, and we'll start at 10 p.m. Bangkok time, exactly, or in 1 minute. Okay, so anybody feel free to comment, and I will get to your comment as I am done going through the material. But first I'm going to focus on the topic and what I have to say about it, which is how this is a video about how the hawk spirit animal is connected to the warrior archetype. And so we would begin. A mature warrior in his or her fullness naturally develops into a leader, because a true warrior serves the people, and while making choices, they take the good of others into consideration. Eventually, at a very high level, the warrior's strategic insight can operate like a visionary's. Having a far-reaching, deep, penetrating vision is one of the many attributes of the hawk spirit animal. Basically, a very sharp visionary leader who takes action as a warrior for the greater good when necessary. The focus and determination to remain on track until completing your task or goal is a part of the hawk spirit animal's medicine. Medicine being the power or energy you can gain from a shamanic perspective, which is where spirit animals come from, at least when I'm talking about it. And these qualities of focus and determination or attributes are present in the warrior archetype as well. Warrior energy being the forward motion of getting things done, completing things successfully, having the discipline to not get distracted while focusing on a goal, having the determination to succeed in any undertaking despite obstacles or problems that arise. The warrior has strong boundaries in all areas, including mental and emotional boundaries. With this clarity of thought, which the hawk also possesses, by not allowing emotions to impede logical thinking, one can direct their physical energy of action to where it's supposed to go with maximum efficiency in a very calculated manner. And for archetypes, the warrior might be one of the most important archetypes for a man, which they should develop first. Because without adequate development of this archetype, the individual has no hope of successfully developing the king archetype, which most men develop after the warrior naturally, or that's how they should do it, with which they rule their domain in a healthy way, allowing it to flourish and thrive, bettering the lives of all of those within the king's ecosystem or domain. Without the warrior archetype developed to a mature and healthy degree, the king will be susceptible to operating within its shadow function, mainly due to weakness or insecurity, which are obstacles or shadow expressions residing in the warrior's domain. See, someone commented, "Hi, how are you? Thanks for your comment." But I'm going to keep on going with this video, and we will get to the comments after I get a little farther into this. So feel free to comment and like and subscribe. So the warrior hugely operates as the foundation for all healthy male expression, psychological development, and energy. When a man is lacking in their warrior archetype's development, they will resort to manipulation, passive aggression, trickery, cruelty, sometimes even overt aggression, lack of responsibility. They might be weak, all qualities that are in no way befitting of someone in a position of power or leadership. which is what the king occupies, which is what the king or queen archetype does naturally, leading and guiding their domain, kingdom, queendom, creation, business, household, or social group. But let's attempt to keep this topic zeroed in on the warrior hawk link. The hawk, in essence, is like a long-range sniper, metaphorically speaking, or a long-range sniper strategic thinker. In truth, tapping into the magician archetype and using these qualities and abilities to maximize its warrior efficiency. An example of this would be Itachi Uchiha from Naruto Shippuden, leading with the pen while utilizing the sword, guided by a higher understanding acquired through virtues, spiritual principles, or simply the intent to safekeep the greater good of all through peace. And understanding the sacrifice or necessities needed to actualize that ideal. A true warrior is a master of both the pen and the sword. I went into this specifically on a past video I made. Go watch that and comment your thoughts about it after this live. But the hawk spirit animal has to do with, it also has to do with receiving spiritual downloads, signs, messages, and insights through your intuition, sometimes called the sixth sense. Some warriors claim to use a sixth sense in life and situations. This is another thing which the hawk and the warrior, hawk spirit animal and the warrior archetype have in common. As a hawk is a messenger between the realms or worlds in shamanism. Some warriors resonate with the term soldier of God, and upon removing the ego from the term soldier of God in its more pure or higher version, one becomes a servant of God, which is more powerful, quiet, and soft, focused more on application or action instead of seeking attention or bravado by being hard and loud. As a servant of the universe, God, or love, an individual becomes a channel for a higher way of being to be expressed through them. Very similar in essence to how a hawk is a messenger from the gods to mortals. And those messages or spiritual downloads the hawk spirit animal is said to deliver should, of course, cause effects, which they do. They cause effects throughout existence. Similar to the way a true warrior serves the light. Now, as stated earlier, the hawk spirit animal channels warrior energy by first developing most of its other skills, which naturally unfold into warrior energy and then into leadership, which is similar, if not in the same way, the warrior archetype naturally grows and develops into the king archetype, which involves taking other people's highest good and well-being into consideration with every choice you make, building yourself up into the leadership phase naturally as you develop all of the skills and attributes which make up the foundation of a king, leader, manager, or any type of sovereign. So this is some things of how the hawk spirit animal, in essence, I've seen has in common with the warrior archetype, with the highest expression of the warrior archetype, not a shadow version of the warrior archetype, which can be likened to a monster or a brute or a savage that's bad for life. As a true warrior serves the light and serves the people, serves what's good, promotes life, safekeeps it. A hawk building on a hawk spirit animal has to do with receiving messages, signs, downloads, but then focus and determination in achieving those messages that it gains intuitively, and then remaining logical and not allowing their emotions to get in the way, catching opportunities. They eventually go building on what I've just said about it. It goes into the warrior energy, and it goes into having a far-reaching vision. So as you are seeing things from a very high perspective and getting signs intuitively and not allowing your emotions to get in the way, you have very high standards. You are naturally occupying a position of leadership, because anytime that you are setting a standard, or you are first, or you are very developed in any way, in anything, you are being looked at and emulated by others, whether if they like you or they dislike you. So you are naturally being a leader, in essence. So as the hawk is living from a very high perspective and using the focus and determination to take action correctly toward its vision, later towards the end, warrior energy comes in, because you have to be resilient enough to stay on track and not allow things to get you off track, which naturally goes into warrior archetype. I think there are other animals that could resonate with the warrior archetype. And different people's perspective can resonate based on someone's perspective. There are different types of warriors. There are different types of warrior archetypes. But I would say that this is like a general overview of the warrior archetype. To me, it resonates well with the hawk spirit animal. I would say that maybe when as a more immature, when I was less developed, I would have thought that, I thought for a long time that it was like, let's say, a tiger spirit animal resonated better with a warrior archetype. But as I've grown and developed, I don't see that to be the case. I think the warrior fits well with it. I mean, the hawk fits well with the warrior archetype. But I see that Onion Rat 252 commented. Thank you for your comments. Hello, how are you? If anybody else has any other comments or anything else they would like to say, please comment or even help guide the topic of this conversation. But I've said it, what I had to say. So please comment if you have anything else to say, whether if you agree or disagree. Just let me know what you think. I'll give you guys some time. Say, an undisciplined warrior that is not fully developed would allow their emotions to get in the way of their choices, and that would also resonate with somebody who is not using the hawk spirit animal correctly. So that would be the contrary hawk spirit animal. That fits well with each other. But the goal of any warrior, any true warrior, a true warrior is simply one who serves the people. And to truly serve the people, you need to take things from a very high perspective. That's also why I mentioned a good example of Itachi Uchiha from Naruto. Even though that's an anime character, Anime has a way of teaching a lot of valuable life lessons. And a good real example would be Martin Luther King Jr., or any other person who shaped society and culture for the better would be a good example of a warrior archetype that's guiding it, sort of like a hawk spirit animal. I know that sounds like nonsense, but you have to understand this stuff through metaphors, what I'm speaking about. Yeah, so if anybody has anything to comment, say, and help guide the topic of this conversation. Criticize, agree, disagree, whatever you feel like. But a developed warrior must be able to think many steps ahead and think strategically and take many things into account. How others get affected by their choices, the repercussions of their choices, how their friends and families and teammates or allies get affected by anything, which is similar to a hawk, a spirit animal, of remaining logical and not allowing your emotions to get in the way, having a far-reaching vision, sees many steps ahead. The essence of this is like having an ideal or something that you wish to achieve in the world, and then going towards that ideal, taking action, which is the word. And as you do that, many things will get in the way because of just how this world is. Chaos will seek to come in and infiltrate. So you must be determined and focused and not get stuck in anything. You must be strategic. You must catch opportunities as they rise in a way that you are like flowing with the situation. The hawk spirit animal resonates with a very, very high developed warrior. In essence, one way of saying it would be with somebody who's mastered like the stage of like, let's say if somebody, most people I assume would think that the warrior resonates better with like a tiger or a lion, the spirit animal, which is what I used to think a long time ago. But as a warrior develops and they become more farther thinking and they become more capable and dangerous, however that warrior archetype is being expressed, and you gain more skills and different ways that you can do things, you become a more far thinking, more strategic thinking, you become more responsible and become much farther thinking. So a lot of the skills that you mastered in lower stages, you become capable of expressing them in many different ways. And you do that now without even thinking about it because you have lots of tools in your arsenal. And as you're doing this, you might be in a business position, you might be a leader of some sort, you might just be somebody that people listen to, or somebody your friends listen to, or whatever. So then you will be shaping things. So as you are going about creating your ideal, business, whatever it is, things will try to get in the way. You must remain logical, you must flow with situations, you must have the warrior energy to uphold those boundaries. With the hawk spirit animal being expressed in a warrior archetype type of way, it's not so much that you don't deal with obstacles or that you don't take action towards hindrances, but it's more of you don't take any unnecessary action or things that aren't worth it. If you can flow around it, you do, not because of fear or because of avoidance, but because you're operating at such a high level that you don't stop for some little tiny obstacle because that would get away. At this level, you only take action, or you only express your warrior energy directly or uphold your boundaries physically in a way that, again, you only uphold your boundaries physically when hindrances would literally get in the way of you moving forward, only when it's absolutely necessary. And the higher you go, in essence, the more that you need to do that, because every battle isn't worth it. Every fight or conflict or argument isn't worth it. Most of them are just nonsense. So you have to just remain focused on the things that matter, because the things that matter are very few, if even more than one or two. But the things that don't are many, and the things that don't matter are very loud and attention captivating. So you must learn to focus and not pay any attention to the things that don't matter, because that makes you more effective and capable and maximizes your results in anything that you do or want in life. That is an aspect of a warrior, having laser-like focus to zero in on your target and hit your targets with maximum efficiency, one after the other, flowing into the other. But if nobody else is going to comment other than Onion Rat 252, which I'm glad you commented, thank you, I am going to end this soon, because I don't want to keep on reiterating the same thing in a couple different ways. Oh, thank you. Thank you, the comment of Shuku Sharifi 9673. I'm glad that that is the case. Would you care to say how it's an affirmation of your thoughts, if you would like? I'm glad that it helps you. Yes, but a lot of the things that affirm, like affirmations, happen synchronistically, and this synchronicities are similar to how the hawk receives messages intuitively, because the hawk is a messenger from other realities in shamanism. So the hawk works with intuition and receiving spiritual downloads and messages. So when you're thinking about something and then it happens on the outside, that's known as a synchronicity from Carl Jung and in Jungian psychology, which is in a way it has to do with intuition and signs, which has to do with the hawk spirit animal, which is actually guidance from on high, from the universe or God or gods or other realities, whatever it is that you believe in. So it sounds like you, Shuku Sharifi 9673, are already using the hawk spirit animal, whether you know it or not, in some way. Yes, everybody would do well to follow their affirmations or guidance. It's like metaphorically speaking, it can be like a magical path that takes you down, that takes you higher and higher in life to your soul's purpose and life mission. And you could actually do that with the hawk. If somebody has a hawk spirit animal, whenever you see a hawk in the sky, wherever, it means you're going the right way. And sometimes you need to have faith in those things. When you see a hawk, you're going the right way. Now the hawk is not an eagle. They might be similar, but they're separate spirit animals. But from my experience, let's say if you're advanced in working with spirit animals, you can kind of evolve into a higher expression of that essence. So let's say like if you use a hawk and you get very proficient with channeling its energy, you can evolve into another layer that you channel on top of that. Let's say such as the falcon. Even though it might be a smaller spirit animal, it doesn't mean it's weaker. You just go deeper into it. Some of the things the falcon might be, I'll stay on the hawk, but let's say, well, some of the things the falcon is associated with is solar energy, strategy, ambition, which actually build well on everything that the hawk represents. Especially with, let's say, with the hawk doesn't allow emotions to get in the way of their logical thinking then if you put ambition on top of that, so if you could balance your ambition with the quality of not allowing your emotions to get in the way of your logical thinking, that could be a very, very powerful combination that can shape the world and all existence. Yeah, if anybody else has any comments or any ideas or thoughts, please voice them. Whether if you agree with me or disagree, it does not matter. Just open and help guide the topic of this conversation, because I've already said many things about it. Follow your guidance like the hawk would, and say whatever you feel guided to say, or you think spontaneously to say. But so yeah, the hawk, there are different types of hawks, and based on what specific type of hawk you resonate with can sort of alter the meaning of it. Like if it's a red-tailed hawk or some other type of hawk, different types of hawks might even resonate more specifically with different types of warrior archetypes. Like let's say, for example, I'm not saying that this is the case, but let's say if a red-tailed hawk is like a ninja archetype, a ninja warrior archetype, and then let's say, I don't know, a gray hawk or whatever other type of hawk, I don't know a lot of them. Let's say if some type of gray hawk is more of like a Spartan or a barbarian warrior archetype. So these things can get very deep, and I do think that this is all uncharted territory, because usually spirit animals are one subject alone within esoteric types of thinking, and then archetypes are from Jungian psychology originally, now more accepted I think in other types of psychology as well. And there has been some work on connecting spirit animals and archetypes. I don't think enough, but there has been some books and some people, psychologists, who've done that. But I believe it's greatly uncharted territory. And actually both of those subjects alone are greatly uncharted territories. Both shamanism and all esoteric teachings and psychology, everything is all basically uncharted territory, because we don't know anything, really, compared to what we could. So nobody should ever think that they know everything or confine themselves to any one way of thinking. Because the moment that you do, you're limiting yourself, and you are sort of setting yourself up for a dead end. Even if your beliefs are correct and they're fruitful, you should always retain an open mind and seek knowledge wherever it may be found. Within the light, within the dark, anything in between, especially in the things that you don't like, because there's probably some reason why you don't like them. It can teach you something about yourself. But yeah, for those who have a hawk spirit animal, when you see a hawk, it means you're going the right way. Whether if it's a picture of a hawk or a hawk in the sky or wherever, it's an affirmation that you are going the right way. Now, if anybody else would like to comment, feel free to do so and help guide the topic of this conversation. Or, yeah. we'll give you guys a moment to express your opinions or beliefs, even criticisms. I welcome them all openly. All challenges are welcome. They might not all be accepted because, just like how I've been saying, I applied the hawk spirit animal's teachings. I remain focused. Just because someone gives a challenge doesn't mean it's worth your time. It might just be a distraction. It's like that saying of, I think it was one of the presidents, I think it was Churchill, one of the American presidents, that said, if you stop and throw a rock at every dog that barks, you will never get to where you're going, which is true. Which fits well with the hawk spirit animal. You shouldn't always, not everything needs your attention. Not every annoyance or every criticism or challenge needs given any attention. Sometimes you should not give it any attention because it's a complete waste of any type of energy. The most minuscule amount of energy you give to it for whatever reason is that much less that you have focus on whatever your objective is and where your attention should be. So most things are distractions, and anybody can do well with using the hawk energy to maximize their warrior energy. And this goes for both men and women, because the spirit animals and the archetype is not gender restrictive. Both males and females have the hawk, have warrior energy within them. And for everything that I said about how the warrior energy, the warrior archetype naturally develops into a king archetype, for women it would just be naturally developing into a queen archetype. So yes, this stuff is not gender restrictive. I went into about how it's the most important thing for a man to develop the warrior archetype first, and I do believe that. And don't be fooled, especially the younger generation coming up now. Don't be fooled by thinking that if you're a man, it's okay to be weak, or it's okay to be anything less than strong. If you're a man, you must be strong. And if you are not strong, there is something wrong with you. Males have feminine, every being has masculine and feminine qualities. Yes, we all have both female attributes and male attributes, like within ourselves energetically, intuitively, and stuff like that. But that doesn't mean that a man should be weak. Just look at the state of the world right now. A man that is weak is not capable of survival. And somebody a man who's not capable of survival should not have a family, simply. Because if a weak man has a family, that woman and child, or whoever he leads, will be in danger. They won't be safe because that person, that individual is weak, so they're not capable of keeping anything safe. So this is why I said that the most important thing for a man to develop is the warrior archetype first, before any of the other archetypes, which I hold to be true. And for the younger generations, or anybody who's been brought up in this present generation, don't be fooled by thinking that if you're a man, it's okay for you to be weak, or okay for you to be submissive and all that stuff. That's not true. That's wrong. That's a false teaching. And there's an agenda behind that teaching. But yes, all males should be strong. If you're not, there's something wrong with you, and you can get strong, even if you're not physically gifted, whatever. The true essence of power or strength does not come from the physical expression. It can be expressed in the physical. That's one of the forms of its expression. But if you're a male, you don't get to choose your gender. If you're a male, if you were born a male, no matter what you register as, you should be strong. And it has to do with your warrior archetype, and you should develop that. think that for women it's as important to develop the warrior archetype like how it is for males, but women have the warrior archetype present as well. And if they don't develop it, they won't be completely individuated, they won't be completely happy, they won't be full. So women need to develop their warrior archetype as well. For all the reasons that they need to develop it are not the same as a man's, but they should develop it as well. I see Shuku Sharifi 9673 said that she must leave. It's okay. Thank you very much for coming. I'm glad that you came. Safe travels. Oh, look. You guys, everybody, look. This individual who was very welcome here because she commented and participated, I think that's a woman, says that she must leave because she's in the airport. Think about this with an open mind. Airport, flying like a hawk flies. Hawk has to do with spiritual insights and intuition and receiving messages from on high. This individual is about to be in the sky like a hawk in a machine, which is more geared towards, let's say, the warrior archetype's tools. Very interesting, very synchronistic. So far we had 2 people comment. Thank you very everybody who commented. Is anybody else is welcome to comment and help guide the topic of this live. Criticize, agree, disagree, whatever you like or feel guided towards. It is all welcome. All challenges are welcome. Not all challenges will be met. If it's worthy, it will be met. But let's see. Voice it. No, that might have been my ego speaking a little bit, but that's beside the point. Voice your opinions. Express your opinions. Does anybody think a different spirit animal fits better with the warrior archetype? Feel free to comment and even express how or why you believe that. Feel free to comment, anybody. I've expressed a lot, and other individuals have helped guide the topic of this conversation as well. Feel free to criticize, whatever you feel, whatever. Let's see, how do I... Well, is cool. Does anybody wish to comment or voice their opinion in any way?